I am out, beautiful morning, sun just came up, and I'm at a location that has a variety of different habitats today. But we'll get into the habitats in a second. Now, finding warblers is often the hardest part and really the first thing you need to be able to do and master before you can even photograph them. So my goal today in this video is to just share some tips and techniques on being able to find and locate these warbler species so that then you can go out into the field and hopefully photograph them. And even if you can't photograph them, just to be able to observe them, because they're such a beautiful family of birds, beautiful colors, and just fun to watch. So that's my goal with this video. But today I also have some different gear with me. So instead of my 400 2.8 lens, I have my 100-400mm lens. And I did this for a couple of reasons. Number one, because this lens is more affordable. It's probably a lens that more people are using, more people are having to use. So I wanted to show what you can get with this lens. And also because warblers are very fast. They're very quick, and you need to be pretty agile when you're trying to find and photograph them. So this lens is lighter, easier to move around, and I can handhold it a lot more. So that's why I picked this lens today. The sun just came up, like I said, so everything is really active, and I already had some good luck with a common yellow-throat warbler pair that looked like they were trying to find a spot to nest. So I'm just going to continue on and see what I can find. I'm hearing yellow warbler, prairie warbler, blue-winged warbler maybe. So there's a good variety, and I'm excited to see what I can find. Now, warblers are a very diverse group of birds. So a lot of them are very small, very colorful, especially the males. And they, as a group, migrate up north, so either into the New England or the northern regions of the United States, all the way up into Canada, Nova Scotia, that area where they breed. Now, some of them are only stopping over in this location, so this is just kind of a stopover point before they head farther north. Others will actually nest and raise their young here. So it varies for different species, but I'm at a location that has a variety of different kind of habitats. And it's important for that because warblers, like many species, if you've watched my videos before, I really try to advocate for understanding the habitat preferences of the animals you're trying to photograph, because it really helps you find them, locate them, and photograph them. And warblers are no different. So because they're so diverse, they have a lot of different habitat preferences depending on the species. And understanding what kind of habitat certain species of warblers associate with will really help you find them and photograph them. I'm here because this area has a good variety of shrubby habitats. So these shrubby habitats where there's kind of an edge where a forest transitions into a field and there's some shrubs and some young trees along the edges is a good spot to find a good variety of these warblers. These shrubby young forest edges and habitats are a good spot to find common yellow-throats, yellow warblers. There's going to be blue-winged warblers. If there's enough grassland around the area, there's also going to be prairie warblers. So there's a good variety of things that you can find in this one area. And this is because they nest and they forage in these areas. So these shrubby areas offer a good variety of vegetation, and because there's such a good variety of vegetation, there's also a lot of insects there as well, which is what these birds are foraging on and feeding their young. So it's an important habitat. Another tip for increasing your chances of finding some warblers is going around a location that has some water. So water typically has more vegetation, more young vegetation. Also has more of the low-growing shrubs and more insects. So I'm at this little pond right here, and there's some bluebirds, there's an eastern kingbird, I heard a yellow warbler. So I'm just going to try to just spend a few minutes here and see if I can find and photograph anything. So I'm out here in the morning because that's when a lot of these birds are very active. So they need to wake up and then start foraging pretty much right away. It's also a good time when they're going to be singing and more active. It's not as hot yet, and they're going to be trying to establish their territory and kind of broadcasting their location and singing a lot more. So morning is a great time to find warblers. But another thing to consider is also for some of these warbler species, like this yellow warbler here is a good example, the sun is only going to be hitting the tops of the trees first and then working its way down, obviously, right? So as the sun's rising, the tops of the trees are going to be illuminated first, they're going to warm up first, and the insects on the tops of the trees are going to be more active first. So you might actually have a situation where the warblers are higher up into the trees, because they're foraging for those insects that are actually more active and more movable because they're being warmed up by the sun. So it's another thing to consider. But as I was sitting here, I also found an oriole nest up in this tree, which is really neat. I'm just going to stay here for a few more minutes and see if I can find or see the orioles going into the nest. I don't want to get too distracted because I want to photograph warblers. But I mean, it's definitely worth something worth trying to get some footage of. Oh, there's a hummingbird right below the nest. I hope I just got that. So orioles are really cool because they build a nest, they weave a nest. It's just basically like a sack out of grasses and all that kind of stuff. And it hangs in typically like a sycamore tree or a cottonwood tree, something like that. It's typically the trees that they try to go for. And they just build this like fabric sack almost. It's really incredible. If this video is helpful for you and you're enjoying this and you want to learn more about how to find and photograph these birds and other species, I offer guided sessions, which is a one-on-one experience where we go out into the field and I just teach you as much as I can about wildlife photography, being able to find and identify habitats and find species to photograph. And it's just a really immersive experience. It's really one of the best ways to learn a lot of information quickly is just having that hands-on experience of learning it. So if that's something that interests you, I have more information down below in the description and also more information on my website. You fill out a form and then we get in touch and we arrange a time to go out and photograph some wildlife. So I'd love to hear from you if that's something you're interested in. I've moved myself along this hedgerow, and these are really good spots to find things. Now, one of the problems with warblers is when they associate with these shrubby areas, they're really hard to find and photograph because they're typically down and deep in this vegetation. But especially in the morning, there's oftentimes, especially the males, they will come out into the open on an open perch and be singing. Just like that. Another good spot to look for warblers is flowering shrubs. So these flowers bring in the insects, and the warblers know this, so they will go to these flowering plants, spend a few minutes there plucking insects off the flowers, and then move on. So if there's something that's flowering near you, it's a good chance to maybe spend a few minutes there and you might have some success. And also it creates a beautiful perch because then you have these flowers and then the bird as well. So it's a good location to look and spend some time. Right now there's all sorts of honeysuckle that's flowering, some apple and cherry trees are flowering, so keep an eye out for that. And that's what the yellow warbler was foraging on above me here. One thing I really wanted to mention that'll really help you find these birds, or any bird really, is to learn and become familiar with their sound, their songs, their calls. Because a lot of times, especially with warblers, you're going to hear them a lot sooner than you see them because they're so small, but they broadcast their songs so well. So like right now, I would have no idea where that yellow warbler is, but because it's singing, I know that it's somewhere in front of me in a tree. So being able to recognize the song will help you find and just move in the right direction of where the bird is going to be. Now there's a common yellowthroat back there. So there's so much in this hedgerow that I would have no idea that it was here if I didn't recognize the songs. And there's so many different things, so many different tools that you can use now to learn the songs of birds. I use the Audubon app. It's a free app. It has a lot of the songs and calls for a lot of different species. You can play them and listen to them and become familiar with them. Another app that I use a lot and is really useful is the Merlin app. That app you can actually hit record it'll listen to a lot of the bird songs that are around you, and it'll identify or try to identify the species that it's hearing. It's a really useful tool, especially if you're just trying to start out, because it helps you recognize and become familiar with the sounds that you're hearing. I would say just take the identifications with a grain of salt. Sometimes they're not correct. A lot of times they'll indicate that you hear a rare and endangered species. You just have to fact check and verify what you're hearing. But it's a really useful tool, especially if you're just starting out and learning. The one thing I would say though is when you're just starting out, do not get into the habit of playing the songs of these birds when you're out in the field to try to lure them in closer to you. It's something that can be done. It's something that's really useful for research purposes and being able to identify what's in a specific habitat. But for the purpose of bird photography, yes, it works, but you have to understand that what you're doing is you're basically broadcasting the song of a species out into the habitat, and you're essentially making it so that the birds around you think that you're an intruder. So they're going to be coming to go check out what you are, which helps you get photos of them, but a lot of times it's going to make them agitated, it's going to make them stressed out, and it's going to take them away from what they're supposed to be doing, which is establishing territory, breeding, protecting their nest, protecting their mate. So you have to understand what you're doing, and by introducing song into a habitat, you could be causing more harm than good. And I always try to say, you know, I don't want my activities or my attempts of getting photos to end up disturbing the birds, and introducing bird songs is something that really can disturb them if done in a manner that's not ethical. So consider that. But now I'm going to get off my soapbox and try to photograph this hummingbird because it's back, and every time I'm talking it comes back. So let's see if we can get something. This is fantastic. That was perfect. This is why I came out with this lens today, because it's so much lighter. I can hand hold, I can move around, and for photographing hummingbirds and warblers, you really need to be able to be moving around and changing position quickly, and that really worked out really well. I think I got some nice images. I was just holding down the shutter button at one point because it is just beautifully backlit right now. The sun's behind it, so it's just illuminating the wings really nice. I hope I got some good ones. And that's the great thing about these hedgerow and shrubby areas. They're a great spot to find warblers, but they also have a huge variety of other species here as well. You could have towhees, you have sparrows, finches, hummingbirds, catbirds, mockingbirds. All different kinds of animals live along these shrubby areas, and you can have some really good success if you just find a good spot and set up. All right, I've gotten some great images and video of this hummingbird, I hope. I'm really excited to get back to the computer and check it out. But this video is about warblers, so we're gonna go and actually go into the forest, because the forest is another kind of host of different warbler species within the forest. So we're gonna head that way and see what we can find. So I'm moving more into the forest now, and the forest has a whole nother variety of warblers that you can find. So there's a lot of species that are more found in the interior forests. So for instance, black-throated green warbler, black-throated blue warbler, black and white warbler, Blackburnian warbler. All of these ones you're gonna find more in interior forests. Also pine warblers, you're gonna find them in pine forests. So a lot of species are not gonna be associated with the open field and shrubby areas that we were just in. So as I'm walking through the forest, I'm not necessarily trying to see them with my eyes. I'm trying to listen for them, because you're gonna hear them a lot faster than you're gonna see them. And I'm moving through this kind of mountain laurel thicket right now, which is a good spot to find black-throated blue warblers. This is pretty much the kind of habitat that they search out. And I actually hear some kind of deep into the forest there. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any success finding them, but you just need to have your ears open and just listen to what's going on around you. And sooner or later, you'll kind of understand the preferences of these different habitats. Once you learn the song and start to hear them in certain spots, you'll be able to associate things like black-throated blue warblers with mountain laurel thickets. I did hear black and white warbler as well back that way. But I want to spend a few more minutes here and see if I can find this black-throated blue warbler. Not having too much success here in the forest. I was able to get one black and white warbler a little bit, get some photos and a short little video clip of it. I'm hearing a lot. There's a lot of activity, but being able to locate them is a different story. So I hear a black and white warbler in front of me somewhere. And it's close. I just haven't been able to get close enough to some of these warblers to photograph them. So I haven't had as much success as I was hoping, but I'm gonna move back out into the open area and see if I can get any more photos of the common yellowthroat or the yellow warblers or anything else that's out there. So I've only been out here for maybe 5 minutes and already found some sparrows building a nest and a pair of chestnut-sided warblers, which is a species I've never gotten a photo of before. I got some that are not great, and there's them right being in this bush right here, but it's really neat to be able to see them. You can see how there's almost an immediate transition of once you come out of the forest into the shrubbier area, there's a lot more species, a lot more variety of species, and they're just easier to find as well. Well, it looks like the chestnut-sided warblers have moved back into this thicket back here. There is a blue-winged warbler that's high up in this tree here, but it's obscured by a bunch of leaves. And the field sparrows are right down here building a nest in this thicket here. So this is really useful information, because now I can come back first thing in the morning and set up here to try to photograph the chestnut-sided warblers in better light. Now that I know that it seems like this is where they're building a nest in this area, really nice to be able to see a species and get some photos of a species I've never been able to photograph before. This is good. But my time is up, so I'm gonna end here. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope some of the tips and kind of tricks to find these species is helpful for you to be out in the field and hopefully locate them yourself, and hopefully try to get some photos of them. I didn't get into anything with camera settings or anything like that because that's a whole nother ball game. Just being able to find the species is #1 importance, and understanding that some species are going to be found in certain habitats is really the best way to find them, #1. Listening for them, being able to learn their songs is a really another great advantage. And a last tip would be, don't get overwhelmed with trying to learn all of the songs at once, because you're just going to get yourself frustrated. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're not going to be able to actually listen to anything. Just pick a few, pick some that are really common, something that's around you, and learn those songs. And that'll help you be able to recognize where those species are and help you find them a lot better. So hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed. I love being out photographing warblers. It was really nice to be out with this lens. It's so much more maneuverable, so much lighter, so much easier to use, especially when you're going back and forth trying to photograph fast-moving birds. So that'll be it. I'll see you next time. If you haven't already, subscribe, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. And I also just started to do channel memberships for my channel, YouTube channel here. So right now, if you join, it's just a small fee a month. It basically just helps support my channel, helps me continue to do these videos, helps me spend more time doing these videos, which I really would like to do. So if that's something that interests you, you can find out more information and hit that join button on the YouTube page, and I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you real soon. Get out there, try to find and photograph these warblers, and I'll be doing the same. So I'll see you next time.